Hello and welcome back to the TGG Empires campaign. We are on the final level. We're going to get to go second, and we're going to try to close this out with one more win. Triumph has Fawning Service, and we get Real Estate Barons. Triumph has Fawning Service. That's the like, you gain a... Yeah, you buy it for free when you get a province. Oh boy, alright, that's crazy. We have the Real Estate Barons. Tomb as well. For landscapes, and then all right, so trashing wise we've got just sacrifice. All right, this 5-2 we sure will also take a settlers, I guess. City quarter draw as well as archive draw, but oh, and Wild Hunt, but there is also Legionary attack, so that could be pretty rough. And Villa is the plus buy, and, you know, Forum. The Triumph thing with Wild Hunt also being on the board, yeah, that could go a number of different directions. It's not going to be super easy to gain a whole bunch of cards here. Unless you can, like, draw really big and then play a bunch of Wild Hunts to gain estates. But then, like, are there estates left for Triumph? You know? But, yeah. Anyway, we'll take the Settlers. They go for Archive. Interesting. I do see the argument for Archive. It will, you know, move you through your shuffle faster than Sacrifice would initially, of course. Do I think that that is actually a better opening than Sacrifice? It really could depend a fair bit on whether you see it turn 3. If you see it turn 3, and you buy a sacrifice, you trigger a shuffle, you see the sacrifice turn 4, then, like, for sure, you're better off than if you just open sacrifice. I guess even if you see it turn 4, and you buy sacrifice on turn 3, that's still probably going to be better. Yeah, I definitely see the argument. I think I actually inclined to agree with the choice. All right, need to pick up copper here to try to hit 4. Hit 4, and yeah, sacrifice. So we could just take another archive here. There's something to be said for looking to get the Legionary thing going. Wild Hunt also with Villa, like, we can get going potentially a little bit earlier than we might otherwise. But I think having one more archive right now is going to be a good option. Okay, so we have an interesting situation here. We have the best we can hit 3 if we trigger the shuffle. Which isn't especially exciting. Trigger the shuffle, our archive misses, our sacrifice misses, but also an estate and a couple coppers miss, and we do have another archive that we top deck within the first, you know, 6 cards, or maybe we end up seeing it this turn. Not likely, but maybe. I suppose we could hit 4 if we sacrifice copper, but I don't think there's any reason to do that anyway. If we don't trigger the shuffle now, we have We can still buy as settlers for what that's worth, which is admittedly not much. um, hmm. I think the fact that we effectively top deck the other archive is reason enough for me to trigger the shuffle. Okay, and then I think we'll go ahead and take a chariot race over silver. Wait a minute. Oh, I forgot about the real estate barons. Okay, hold on. Right. Okay. Oh man. Oh man. Wild Hunt? Do we want to try to get the Legionary Gold thing going? Like, we could just take a gold now and then get the Legionary. Or we could get the Legionary now. These two archives, like, that's going to do a fair amount of work. If we take the Legionary now, there's a good chance that we collide Sacrifice and Legionary and end up needing to get a Villa anyway. But maybe not, because, like, if we have Archive, we can, like, set the one aside. I mean, the fact that we can afford gold right now, also an argument in its favor. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to do that. Crazy as that might seem. It would have been pretty bad if we had... Really? Okay, so we take gold here, we can get Legionary. Maybe we shouldn't be doing this, but I think it should be fine. If we get a bunch of money, we can always buy Forum. Go ahead and pick up that copper. No reason to pick up a state here that I can see. And yeah, I think we want Wild Hunt now. Okay, we should take either Villa or Forum. We probably want some plus buy in our deck, so let's take a Villa. And then... I mean, the plus actions, too. We go, like, Forum Wild Hunt. Man. Oh, wait, they didn't actually win the race. Okay. Okay. Let's sacrifice first and guarantee that we hit Villa, but is there any way? I guess there is a way. Yeah, alright, let's... Let's get the villa. Wild Hunt control seems pretty important. I would like to take another one of those. What do we want to take with it? I mean, we could consider City Quarter. Could also just take nothing. The debt blocking us from getting Villa is a bit a scary prospect. I think I'm just going to leave it at that for now. That's not ideal. We have sacrificed all of our estates, so I guess we take sacrifice, price copper, buy villa. Okay. Now we go wild on. Wonder. We should empty the villas. Maybe so. I'm also wondering about Triumph. 3 buys left. We could go like Wild Hunt Triumph. We would get money back essentially, and then we could take a City Quarter. We'd also just go Wild Hunt Copper Triumph, I guess. Is that better? We no longer need to worry about buying a villa mid-turn, so there's that. I think we do this, and then we do this. What the fuck just happened? They double provinced? After getting legionary attacked? What? That's insane. What is that? I guess it doesn't matter. Oh, there's only 2 estates left. And 2 wild hunts. Holy shit. Well... we gotta take the points. That seems clear. So we... Can we win? What happens if we buy, like, Wild Hunt, Province... I honestly have no idea. And then, like, the Province generates the Triumph. Wild Hunt, Triumph is at 3. We lose 2 points. And we spend all of the rest of our points, except for this 1 estate, to buy Province. The Province puts the Triumph at 4, the estate puts the Triumph at 5. We get the 6 points for the... Well, we can buy a bunch of coppers before we do it, too. Wild Hunt. I mean, it might be correct to not end the game and to go, like... four coppers and... well... I guess there's also... we could also consider castles. Crumbling Castle gives us an extra gain. We go like Humble Crumble. Ay. We do have an archive down, but like they otherwise, like it's like shocking that they had as good of a turn as they did with, like, all they did was draw with 1 wild hunt. I wonder. Yeah, it's... well, then they paid off debt with points up front? Why would you do that? I really have no idea and how to, like... math this out in a way where I'm going to be confident that then I can do it and it'll be fine. All right, but let's try. We buy 2 wild hunts. We're at 0 coins and 8 VP, plus the estate is 9 VP, but 8 VP chips. Then we buy 3 coppers. So that's 5 gains. Triumph is at 6. Then we buy Province. We gain the Province and the estate. Triumph is at 8. We get... so the VP chips go to 0. We get the Province and the estate. That's 6, 7, 8. And then the Triumph is worth 8. So we're at 16. So that is not enough. If we were to just buy, like, 4 coppers, right, we wouldn't end the game. Like, a Province isn't worth as much as the VP chips. So there is an argument there, like, against buying, like, putting cards into the deck. The advantage of the Humble Crumble thing is we get an extra gain out of it. And we get some, like, Crumbling Castle also gets... like the +1 VP for gaining it. We should just go that far and see what it looks like. Okay, so now we do that, and if we buy 3 coppers in a province, we're going to get 9 VP from the Triumph, plus the 7 VP from this, minus 7 VP. So we're going to be, we're not even going to have much of a points lead, are we? Whereas if we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we buy the province, then we get 8 VP for the Triumph plus 7 is 15. So we do have a points lead at that point. And they don't have the ability to generate points off of Wild Hunt. Yeah, and I think it becomes a lot harder. I mean, having all this copper in our deck is not going to do us any favors, but we do have a lot of draw. Wait. Okay, apparently I miscounted. But I guess it's fine. Now we do still have a points lead, so all we need to do is get those 2 Wild Hunts. Well, is province net points here? Yeah, I guess so. Is as much net points as... Wait, so you spend 4 and then you get back 6, that's plus 2. Or you spend 1 and you get back 3, that's plus 2. Or you buy Humble Castle and that's also plus 2. I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, well, whatever. Or you buy 2 estates and that's plus 2. Super doesn't matter. Okay. Well, that was distressingly close. Yeah, I don't know. Like, was the city quarter bad? Maybe. Like, we made it. So first of all, we made it. We got the clean sweep. So huzzah for that. But I don't know that I feel like I played this very well. I mean, I don't think... Yeah, I don't know that I feel like I should have expected the AI to have this good of a turn off of, like, you know, they had no archives in play, and they had a 2-card hand. Villa Wild Hunt is a good start, conditional on that, but, you know, and then they found Archive Wild Hunt. So they play Archive, Villa, and then Wild Hunt for Estate, yeah, and then Sacrifice. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like a shockingly good turn for where their deck was. They did trash more copper than I did. I'm not sure why exactly. Like, maybe just because I went for the Legionary when I did, and they got Wild Hunt instead. But I had like the 2 archives. I managed to pair up the Legionary Gold like relatively quickly, so I don't necessarily think that was the wrong call. And it did give me the money to put, like, you know, the Forum Villa into my deck. Which, like, you know, so without that stuff, then the extra money would have been kind of no good, and that might not have been the play, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't feel great about my play here, but I mean, I guess all is well that ends well. I don't know, maybe getting a second sacrifice would have been a good idea. The fact that sacrifice gives you points was not something I was accounting for in my initial calculations of like opening. If I had been thinking about that, maybe it would have been correct to open sacrifice even on the 5-2, because while archive obviously is accelerating you more initially, like the fact that sacrifice can trash a state and give you 3 coins, like, I mean, that's bounty hunter, right? Like you could certainly hit 5 off of that. And I wasn't thinking about that. Right? That's was like the yeah. I actually think I kind of want to see how that plays out now. If we go back and buy a sacrifice straight up. It's like, yeah, we can just hit 5 off of this. We get an archive if we want, but maybe we go straight for Wild Hunt. I mean, the duration draw is nice, but let's try it. Now we could get a second sacrifice. I think is good. We're gonna need to be able to afford Villa. We don't have any more estates down there. So this is a little risky here to just go for Wild Hunt. I'm gonna do it anyway. So we have a Wild Hunt here. It's a little bit fortunate. We have up to 7 coins. I mean, I guess we could take the gold at this point. Plan to get the Legionary. We have 2 Wild Hunts, and our deck isn't that big. Sure. Why not? We're already guaranteed to be able to afford Villa. Okay. So now do we just go straight for Legionary? We could also go Villa Legionary, but I don't think there's much reason to. It is adding a stop card. I mean, we could also take a Forum. I mean, that could make sense. Like, our deck isn't reliable at this point. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. All right, well, already potentially providing value. Okay, so we buy a Villa here. I guess we buy another Villa. And then we want Wild Hunt and we just 2 Wild Hunts. They're going to take the Wild Hunt points this turn, like, unless they just don't have one in hand, almost certainly. Which is unfortunate, but. I mean, in theory, we don't need the draw from 2 Wild Hunts. But if we can draw up an estate and then sacrifice it, that is nice. And the speed that this goes by is just so disorienting. Right. Yeah, we can just go ahead and do this and get another villa. Oh, we need to play all of these coppers. That's not good. Oh, actually, maybe it's fine. No, it's not quite fine. Oh, I guess if we buy another villa, we can do... Yeah. Well... So we can just take the points directly here, or we can try to do some shenanigans. I don't think there's any reason not to do this. Alright, so up to 12 coins to spend. If we buy like... How do we do this? Settlers, Wild Hunt, Villa. We play Wild Hunt for cards. No, we play Wild Hunt for points, and then we play Wild Hunt for No. We have to... This Wild Hunt would have to be played for cards to draw the other one. We had the actions for this. I don't know that we do. The idea would be like, we get the Villa. Villa's going to give us +1 action. And then we play it, and then that's... So that's three terminal actions, which would be Sacrifice, Wild Hunt, Wild Hunt. Okay, that does work. No, wait. Yeah. This one goes for cards. The next one goes for points. The Settlers draws the estate, and then the Sacrifice trashes the estate. I think that all works. So we go Wild Hunt, Settlers, Villa, cards, points, that, and then we do the province thing. Do we buy another copper just to pump Triumph a bit, or do we buy something else? Well, what would that something else be? Guess another copper should be fine. I mean, we have 2 settlers and we have a forum anyway. Righty. Oof. Okay. Oh, I should have considered Sacrifice Settlers. Just sort of blanked on that. You know, it's not like it matters if we undo here, so... Yeah, let's just... I mean... Would we sacrifice the settlers now? You know, if we didn't have that information, like... Or would we play a settlers first? Probably we'd play a settlers first, but whatever. We'll do it this way. We still didn't make it. Damn. We didn't find the forum, and we didn't find multiple of our wild hunts. Pretty annoying. Haunted Castle doesn't... Attack doesn't do anything. It does give us extra gains. I want to do the Province Triumph thing again. Adding more copper to the deck isn't the most appealing, but I guess we could do like Settlers, Province, or something like that. It's like the cheapest non-copper card we can get. And we get slightly more points if we go Haunted Castle, Copper, Province, but eh. I guess there's also Forum. We could buy a theory. We could buy a lot of forums with these 12 VP. Or in totality, anyway. But I don't actually think it's important. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, that was, of course, the risk of not taking the Haunted Castle, but whatever. So we sacrifice Settlers again. Oh, right, that gives us plus actions, too. Very nice. Is this our last Wild Hunt? It might be. I should have kept track of that. I mean, I guess there's... Well, probably we could just win the game here, so we probably would... Although it would be nice to see the gold, but probably doesn't matter. It probably doesn't matter. Oh, we don't have the actions to play both of these? Okay, hold on. Actually, then what we do is sack the Legionary. And then we go Wild Hunt. One, two, three. Province. Maybe there's a way where you get more points by taking forums in there too. I like net more points. I doubt it though. You're only triumphing twice, and that's like plus 5 points, so probably not. But... Right. So that was that was more effective. Yeah. Just open sacrifice. Who cares about archive, I guess. Did we in fact play all of our Wild Hunts that turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we bought one. So yeah, we were at the last one. Yeah, get it. The combination of like the real estate barons and tomb, as well as, well, yeah, no, those two things mean that like just directly opening sacrifice and getting another one, I think, was better than messing around with archive. Funny thing is, I think I mentioned one of the kingdoms that I played. I think it was in this campaign, whereas like I had, what was the card that I got where I was like, oh, I probably wouldn't have prioritized getting this card, you know, if I hadn't had this opening, so it pushed me into doing a better thing. It was Moat on some board that had a bunch of attacks. It was like I had a 5/2 and I took a Moat, and then it like turned out to be really like it did a lot of work because it blocked a bunch of attacks or whatever. This was like the opposite, where I had this 5/2, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, archive, and I didn't think through what all sacrifice could do in this particular case. Like I think if you took real estate barons off of this board, I think the archive opening is better. But with the real estate barons, I think sacrifice is just the better opening. So in this case, my opening baited me into doing something that I think was worse. And yeah, trying this again and seeing like the results. I mean, granted, the AI may have played like not as well this time, but I don't know. I think they did pretty similar things. I think I just was further ahead. Yeah. So, well, lesson to be learned. But in any case, the fact that we played it worse the first time around does not matter. We got the clean sweep, unlike Adventures, but like Cornucopia. My second perfect run through one of these campaigns. And get the little star. And next time we start on Nocturne, which, oh boy. Weird to hope that the base cards rescue it, but that is kind of what my hope is. It's like, maybe the cards from the base set will make the kingdoms be good. Because like Nocturne heavy, I don't know. This might be unpleasant, but I guess we'll see. In any case, well, I guess as far as the Empires one go, I think the Empires one was really fun overall. The real estate barons thing is so wild, and I did quite enjoy that. What else was in there? I don't know. I mean, you know, there were a bunch of kingdoms with Villa. Villa is usually a fun time. You know, of course, you have landscapes and such. That was cool. I mean, that was true in the Adventures one as well. But yeah, I just felt like the Empires one. I mean, a lot of it, like the real estate baron showed up like 3 times and was like pretty crazy, or maybe it was 4 times, and it was pretty crazy each time. But yeah, I mean, I guess there were like the charm board that had like the Overlord City Quarter thing where you could get like both of those. That was cool. Even though Overlord was like weirdly like it was really good, and then it wasn't, because I think if I remember correctly, that was the one where you had Sentry, so I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to open Overlord and I'm going to trash with Sentry. And then there was also Wolf Den, so you want another Overlord. But then after you've gotten clean, you're like, what are these Overlords doing exactly? There was like the mixed up Patrician Emporium pile, so like sometimes they could play Patrician and sometimes they could play Emporium. And those were both fine, and then it emptied, and I was like, I guess there's no payload to use with this. Okay. But it was still cool, and like Charm in general was fun on that board, and it was too bad that I think it was level 9 that we didn't get to do anything with Charm there, because we just buried the AI in curses, and then that was the game. But yeah, I thought this was one of the better campaigns. It's hard for me to hold enough of it in my head at once to like say like, oh, I thought this one was better than this one or whatever, but I have a positive takeaway from this one anyway. The only one that I specifically remember, like, well, I remember being like quite liking the Hinterlands one as well, because that had a bunch of like trail stuff. And trail's always fun. But and also like the cartographer board where cartographer was like trail. It was crazy. But the only one I remember specifically having like boards that I wasn't having, that I was like, oh, I don't like this one a bunch, was Alchemy, just because it had a bunch of possession boards. Dark Ages had too much Hermit Market Square, but that was more that wasn't necessarily like the board isn't fun. It's just like I already played this. I want to do something else. It was more about the repetition. But yeah, I mean, in general, I think the campaigns are pretty great. So which ones are the best? I don't know, but this was a good one. I hope the Nocturne one is good. But I don't have very high expectations. But we'll see. In any case, thanks for watching, and yeah, see you next time for Nocturne. Until then.